My boy Mike told Emma, I'm not signing that dotted line unless I'm going to see 2 lines, and that's the pregnancy lines.
Let's talk.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Nurse Brooke back here with another episode on Brooke Talks podcast channel here on YouTube. Oh my goodness, so much has been going on, y'all. I had recorded several different, reaction review videos of Love is Blind season 10, but I have been so busy. So let me tell you what I have been having, what I've been doing, okay? So a lot of you on here may know that I am a registered nurse and I am a travel nurse. I have been on fun employment since January 31st. So I have just been focusing on content creation, and this podcast channel, and all the things. However, in the midst of all of that, I've been doing UGC content for brands. I've been working on my own personal brands, and merchandise websites as well, my communities, all of the things. Check out my bio and check out all the things that I do. I do a lot of stuff. But I signed another travel nurse contract. Woo! I took several weeks researching, studying, looking at the best rates, and I landed a contract that looks like I'm going to love it. We'll see. But I am going to, drumroll please, I'm going to St. Louis, Missouri. I've never been to St. Louis before. This is my first time going to St. Louis. It is about a 10-hour drive from where I live here in North Carolina. So I will be driving there. I need my car. I'll be taking my dog, my tarantula, Fluffy, and we are going across the country to go for another travel nurse assignment. So I have not had time to record a whole lot of stuff. I did have some of the episodes recorded, but I just have not had time to edit with all of the other things that have taken priority. Whenever you start a travel nurse assignment, the nurses know you have so much credentialing you have to do. You have paperwork you have to fill out. You have modules that you have to complete. And it takes up a lot of your time. So I'm so sorry. We are going to skip over all the way to Love is Blind season 10, and this is episode 12, I think. Let me see, child. Episode 12, okay? Also, we're in the car again because given the fact that I am about to move to St. Louis for the next 3 months, my place is in shambles. Stuff is everywhere. Boxes are everywhere. I'm packing up a few things, getting my dog stuff, my animals prepared. So it's been a lot. So I apologize for this, but this is a new channel. I'm growing. I do have a full-time career outside of this, so hopefully y'all will give me a little bit of slack. We will get back to our book content. We will start having some digital marketing content, and we'll also have, some plant content as well. So stay tuned. So Love is Blind season 10. Episode 12 is picking up where episode 11 left off, and these are the weddings. Now, we had Emma and Mike at their wedding, and at the end of episode 11, they kind of left us on a cliffhanger, and they asked Mike, do you take Emma to be your wife? And that cuts the episode. So, episode 12, we start out with the recap, and then we go back into Emma and Mike's moment at their wedding at the altar. And Mike does tell Emma no. Okay? He tells Emma no. And it's not that he doesn't want to marry her. It's not that he doesn't want to be with her. And it's not that he doesn't love her. And that's, pretty much what he was saying. He is still not convinced that Emma wants to have children. And he definitely wants to have kids. And I got an issue with this. A video that I posted before, maybe I posted it, maybe not, but I just have an issue with this situation with Emma and Mike. Just a recap, Emma has this scarring on her left arm, pretty severe scarring from multiple surgeries as a kid, from a skin disorder that would eventually more than likely cause a melanoma or a type of skin cancer. And so, that was a big thing for her in the pods. The fact that she is also adopted. She's Asian, I think Chinese, and was adopted by a white family. And you could just tell that Emma has so many, things that is fueling her to be here, but is also things that she still has to address, in her personal life. But the thing is, Mike, this is directly for you. You knew all of these things about Emma before we got to this point in the experiment. Okay, you got all the way to the aisle and told my girl no. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Of course, there's edits. We don't see everything. We don't get everything. But what were you doing this whole time? Were you just like badgering her into having children? Were you continuously having this conversation with her? Were you trying to not coerce her, but persuade her in a way to have children? She doesn't know if she wants to have kids. She never said that she 100% doesn't. But even in some of the earlier episodes, even her sister was like, you don't want to have kids, sis. Stop bullshitting, okay? You don't want to have kids. And I mean, maybe you do find someone that you want to have kids with. And this is not necessarily something she said, but maybe she does want to find someone that she wants to have kids with. But I just feel like that person needs to be okay with the fact that we may or may not have kids. Point blank, period. We may or may not have kids. And if you're sticking around for the ride, you know this and you're okay with that. And literally in the pods, Mike was constantly, that's how they edited it, was constantly bringing up the fact that he wants kids. I'm here with you. I like you. I'm gonna pick you, but I want to have kids. So you need to be wanting to have kids too. And it just puts this couple, this situation, this entire show in a constant dilemma, because these men, and the women too, in some of the situations, but in this situation, Mike knew that she possibly didn't want to have kids, and he still chose to go on with this experiment, knowing that he 100% wants to be a father. There's not a doubt in his mind, a doubt in his family's mind that he is going to have children. And back to the family, the Italian family, your family, I know you a Trumper. I know you MAGA. I know. But the way that your family chewed down on Emma, the way that your family corrected her when she said sauce versus gravy or some shit, the way that your family just interrogated her, and it's okay to ask questions, you have to do that. But the way that your family treated Emma, for me, honestly, I wouldn't survive an experiment like this, because I would immediately have gotten my black ass up and gave their Italian asses the deuces. Okay? It's cool, but nobody gives a shit. Correcting her with that sauce, that fucking sauce versus gravy scene, that shit made my skin crawl. Okay? That shit absolutely made my skin crawl. So in the confessional, directly following, according to the edit, directly following the marriage scene at the altar with Mike and Emma, and she said yes, and he said no after her. They talked to both of them, of course, in their confessionals, and Emma pretty much said, you choose to be with someone, and, at the end of the day, she still doesn't know if she wants to have kids. And she thought that she kind of, said it, paraphrasing, that she thought that, her giving him the idea that, hey, I may be open to this. Right now I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, but I may be open to this. She thought that would be enough for him. And she said, I don't think that was enough for him. And it wasn't. It wasn't. When these types of things come up in the pods, and and this is just not in the pods, this is in life in general. If you know that, someone has a quality or has something about them that you absolutely do not like, or that you do not agree with, or that, you can't come to terms with, that is going to be an issue. That is going to be a major issue in your relationship. Getting married doesn't change that. I can say that because I've been married and divorced before. Getting married doesn't change those things. Persuading someone to do something that they don't want to do doesn't change those things. Telling someone that you may be interested but possibly not, those things are huge. So in Mike's confessional, he pretty much said, he could not say yes to someone that he doesn't know 100% sure is sure about having kids. And he told Emma to her face right then, I don't want to be with someone and it's 50-50 or it's 90-10. He said, I don't even want it to be 99% versus 1%. I want my partner to be 100% just like I'm 100%. And I totally get that. I feel you. I get that. I'm down for it. But then they asked him in the confessional one-on-one, they asked him, if Emma would have actually told you yes to the children, do you think you would have said yes? And he said, I think so. Excuse me, what? You think so? I honestly feel like Mike, now don't quote me on this, but I do believe that earlier in the episodes that Mike did say that he had, after he met Emma, that he has not dated outside of his race, or he has not dated, an Asian girl before. He ain't dated nobody black. He's MAGA. He's Trump. Okay. So he has not dated anybody outside of his race. And, for some people, they may think that dating someone who's even Asian or even Hispanic is, better. But in a lot of cases, they don't want to date those people either. They want to date what they want to date within their race, whether that's Italian or what other type of white, subset we have there. And once we have that and they have that thought process, if they're dating anybody outside of their set, type, it's an experiment. You are an experiment. Okay. Just like with Devontae and Brittany, and we'll get to that, but Devontae and Brittany, just like you are an experiment. When they said they've never dated this type before, they meant that. And it is because that's not their type. Okay. Let's put 1 and 2 together and let's not get 4 out of that equation. Okay. So next couple that we're going to talk about is Amber and Jordan. And they seem, pretty much like an overall strong couple. They had a few little hiccups here and there across the way. But Amber is getting ready for her wedding day. She's getting her hair and makeup done. Her family and her friends are there. And they're just, talking about how she feels about Jordan and how he has been, integrating into her life as a nurse practitioner and as a mom. And, a mom who is also co-parenting with her ex, which is Emma's dad. She said that, he had to meet Emma. He had to meet her, her ex, her father, Emma's dad. And so there was a lot of other things that had to be done in this particular couple, in this relationship, for it to get to this point of even getting to the altar. So I feel like that's pretty heavy. For a woman to, who is of a certain status or who is of a certain lifestyle and who has her child has a father who is in her life and who takes care of her, to introduce a new man into her life and meet her and be about to marry this man, that's big. So I hope and wish them all the best. So it looks like she's feeling good about him. They asked her if she was confident in her decision to, whatever the decision is. They don't give you the clues yet, but they asked her if she was confident in her decision that she's going to make today, whether that be yes, whether that be no. And she said, yes, I'm confident in my decision. So then we get into the men's area with Jordan. His family comes and they're doing pretty much the same thing, talking about Amber, how they feel about each other, the things that he's had to do to get here, meeting, her daughter Emma's dad, and just talking about, back and forth. Amber mentioned that, they're going back and forth. They're commuting. I think they live about an hour apart from each other. Amber and I think her child's father's name is Matt. They live in Mount Vernon. So Matt comes and takes Emma to school. It's convenient. It's easy. But now that she's with Jordan, Jordan said when he was talking to his family that he does not want to move to Mount Vernon. And they made that very clear in the pods. He made it very clear he does not want to move to Mount Vernon. And so that would mean her and Emma moving to where Jordan is, or them getting a place together. It would mean that Matt would have to commute an hour every day to take Emma to school. Emma would have to go to a new school. And so all of these things are kind of being brought up now. And I feel like the edit kind of like, they threw in, they talked about Emma. We know that Amber has a daughter, that he had to meet her and do all of this. But I feel like the heaviness of that, I feel like they kind of like threw it all on us on this episode, because everything was like peachy keen before, and then now it's like these heavy topics are like coming up, and it's not in like a negative light. It didn't come off to me that way, at least so far in the episode. It didn't come off to me that way. It just comes off like, these are the things that we did to get here, and now we're here, and let's see what's next. Jordan said he didn't want to move to Mount Vernon, and it's primarily because it sounds like there's nothing there. There's no nightlife, there's no, places to go just grab some drinks really quickly. It's not like a close area where there's lots of things to do, lots of nightlife, lots of out, things to do. He wants to have things to do. And I get that. I totally get that, coming from a small town, living near a very large city, of Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I do understand, hey, like living in the country or suburban areas versus living in the city, it's like night and day. So I do understand that. And apparently Amber agreed to that in the pods. This conversation does continue, and his family is kind of like, well, hey, you have to compromise. And this is marriage. You do have to compromise. And I can't remember who it was that said something about, maybe a sister or cousin, I'm not sure, who said, hey, like, is there any way that you can meet somewhere halfway in between? And he does say that there's a place called, I think, Green Village, that Amber's brother lives with his fiance. And, that was an area that she would be open to going to and moving to. And he said that the neighborhood was awesome. And so, he was open to that. So his family was just like, yeah, like you have to compromise, like, especially when she has a child. And, it's kind of her world. It's both of your world. You both have to incorporate and implement and integrate. But she has a child, and she already had her situation set up with her child's father. Those things can get tricky, especially if you have any type of like legality to it or paperwork behind it. Like, all of those things have to be considered, especially with her leaving and moving in with a man that she's getting married to. Jordan is nervous. He's just talking about all the different things. I think that is why they held it all the way to this part, because Jordan is nervous. All throughout this process, he's kind of been seeming like he's good. This is it. He's a guy's guy. He loves this girl, all of these things. But now he is here. He's at the wedding. He is extremely nervous. His family feels bad for him that he's so nervous. He's like, I know that, we're here. I'm extremely nervous. So, wonder how that's going to pan out for my boy. So next, we cue over back to Amber, and we get to meet Emma. Emma is there. She's as cute as she can be. Amber looks beautiful. Okay, her dress looks amazing. Her boobies looking good, girl. Body T, hair T, face T. Okay, Amber looks great. She looks like a bombshell. Emma looked beautiful as well. I failed to mention that before. Emma looked absolutely beautiful as well. So we have Amber, and she's here with her family, her daughter, her brother, and they're just talking through things. This is like that moment before you go down the aisle. She's hugging her daughter, telling her that she's her best friend and she loves her, and, thanks her for going through life with her. And it was so cute. It was very heartfelt. It was, a real moment. And Jordan, you got a good looking lady coming down the aisle to you. That's all I got to say about this part. So then we have a one-on-one with Amber and her brother, and they're just talking about the situation. And Amber's brother, I honestly feel like he's shedding like maybe a little bit of light on the situation without telling us what's to come. I don't know yet. But he is just talking to her and saying, I'd be surprised if you both said yes. Maybe Jordan wants a little bit more time. Like, this is a lot. You got a child, you got an ex, you live in, Mount Vernon, you're going to have to commute. We see behind the scenes that Jordan is also is very nervous. Like, Amber seems like she's good. She seems like she's good. She's like, it's a yes for me, but we don't know what Jordan is going to say. She said it's a yes for her, but this is a lot. She understands and she knows that this is a lot. Oh my God. Oh my God. Child. Jordan says, I do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jordan says, I do. Wow. And I mean, they both had a very heartfelt moment to say their vows to each other. They were very beautiful. Jordan says, yes, he says, I do. He said he's going to follow his heart. He said he feels really certain about this. And he said that he do. One of the ladies in the audience was like, everybody was shocked. Everybody was crying. You can hear people's commentary and they were like, I'm going crazy. I can't believe it. Like, these people seemed like they didn't think that he was going to say yeah. So everybody is giving them a round of applause. And there is not a dry eye in that wedding, child. So congratulations to Amber and Jordan. We got another married couple with Love is Blind. All right. I don't have nothing bad to say now. Jordan said yes. He said I do. Child, we cue over to Devontae and Brittany. And they are not prepared to get married. They are not at a wedding venue like the rest of their castmates. They are sitting in a home on a couch and they're having a conversation. Brittany says, today was supposed to have been my wedding day. I was supposed to be getting married today. Like, girl, huh? We about to, Brittany. Now you was my girl, Brittany. You still is. You still are my girl. Like, registered nurses, we got to stick together. But sis, I hate this for you. I really do. I hate this for you that Devontae, like, of course there's a lot of things that Brittany wouldn't have known behind the scenes. It just isn't. And let's just make sure that we shed light on that. There's a lot of things that Brittany wouldn't have known about Devontae. Now, there's a lot of things that have come to light with women coming forward, ex-girlfriends, talking about Devontae's character, how he left him high and dry, how he's weird. All of these alleged things that have come out about him honestly line up exactly with how he is depicted on the show. So go and, look into all of that, deep dive. But there are some things that were outside of the show that occurred, which always does. These are real people with real lives and real flaws, as we all do, as we all have. And so those things Brittany wouldn't have had a fucking clue about. This scene is honestly very cringe, and it sucks because, ladies, we get put in situations like this time and time again, even in the real world. These men give us, breadcrumbs. They gaslight us. They, tell us what they promise, a lot of things, and when you're delivering, they're not. And this scene tells me like everything I need to know about this situation, as I've already seen everything I need to know. Brittany is literally begging for this nigga to marry her. And I'm sorry, that's what it comes off as. He is telling her he doesn't want to get married. He can't do it. He doesn't know if he can love her the way that she needs to be loved because he doesn't like her. He's not attracted to her. She's not his type. He doesn't like women of color. He's never dated a woman of color. And according to one of his ex-girlfriends, Taylor, on the Storytime with Ricky interview, and I think her co-host is Ashley, they, broke an interview with his ex-girlfriend, I think Taylor, and she said he doesn't like black women. and I think she is a white woman or Hispanic, Latina. Um, she said he doesn't like women of color. He don't like black women, is actually what she said. And so it kind of is a telltale that he went through this process. She alleged that he was just trying to get sponsorships and get his name out there and get his business out there, whatever the case may be. She alleged that. It's possible. Because he was just like the whole show with Brittany. He was not attracted to her. Again, he does not like people of color as far as dating them. It's showing. And she's like, Devontae, I want to be married. My family is here to see me get married. My mom and dad want to see me married. I want to get married. This is what I want to do. I want to be married. I have a dress. I have lashes and nails. And it's like, girl, he does not want to be married to you. I want to be married. I want to be married. Like, the women like that, they will just get with anybody. And I don't mean anybody with just any old dirty old, off the street, but they'll get with someone who is really not delivering the things to them that they want, require, and need to be happy and successful in any type of relationship, less known a marriage. So this scene is extremely cringe because she's saying, I want to be married. My family's coming into town. This was our wedding day. What the fuck? And he's like, I don't want to be married. And she's like, well, I want to be married. And he's like, I don't want to be married. Like, literally, that is the back and forth in this scene. She's saying she want to be married. He's saying, I don't want to be married. She's saying, I see myself with you 100%. And he's saying, I don't want to fucking be married. And he doesn't want to be married. We've seen that the whole entire time with them. She's begging for him to tell her she's pretty. If a motherfucker don't tell you you pretty, it ain't that you're not pretty, sis. That's not your man. He's not attracted to you. He's not going to tell you you're pretty. And in some cases, these type of niggas want you to tell them they pretty. Let's be clear. Devontae comes off as a guy who does not like women. And I don't mean that to say that he's a part of the LGBTQIATT plus community. And I'm saying that to be funny because I'm a part of that community. I not saying that that's the way he goes. I'm just saying that he just comes off as a person who hates women, no matter their color. And that goes back to that interview, that story time with Ricky and Ashley did with Taylor, the ex-girlfriend. He just doesn't like women. He doesn't respect them. Women are a means to a fucking end with men like this. It is a way to have someone to care for you at home, someone to have sex with, someone to help you pay bills, someone to help raise your kids, someone to present to society as, this is my wife, I am a man of status, I'm not just a single bachelor out here making all this money with nothing to show for it. And tear me up if you want to in the comments, I don't give a damn. That's the truth. And it's very blatant and clear what we have going on here in this situation. He's not your man. He never will be your man. And you deserve better. You are a beautiful girl. Brittany, you are a gorgeous girl. Beautiful girl. There's no reason why you should have a problem getting a man that will give you all of the things that you want. A man that will tell you you're fucking beautiful every day. There's no reason that you shouldn't have those things. Child, that confessional with Devontae after that. Devontae don't like you, girl. He never did. He said that he's always had doubts about you. He said he had some doubts about you that he saw from the beginning. He said the fact that Brittany pre-bought a wedding dress before the entire experiment threw him off. He was like, so were you going to get married regardless of if it was me? Like, first of all, you sound dumb. You sound dumb. But her getting that wedding dress before was a little off, I do agree with that. But at the same time, you don't like her. You just don't like her, Devontae. And you just should have said that. I've had doubts the entire time. What doubts have you had? Okay. If you've had doubts the entire time, how did you go on with the experiment? Were you actually trying to get, more people to engage with you and get followers and get people to engage with your business and the things that you have going on? What is it that you're trying to do? These sponsorships that your ex Taylor alleged that you were, getting into or looking into. What's the truth here? You don't like Brittany. You're not attracted to her. She is not a white woman. She is a woman of color. She is Afro-Latina. So it is very obvious that he doesn't like her. This can be a popular or unpopular opinion, I don't know. But I also feel like another thing that kind of threw him off was when she says she likes to shop a lot. Men pick up on stuff like that, y'all. They pick up on that. And regardless of how much money they're making, they pick up on that. If you say, I like shopping, I like shopping, I like shopping, and then he's telling you, oh, well, I make, $12,000 one month and it's $40,000 another month. And Brittany's eyes got big as this. Girl, you got to keep your poker face on, child. You can't let them know that you know what you know. You got to keep that poker face, because then they'll start, any of them that have it, first of all, these men are dumb. Unless it comes to what they have going on to advance themselves, their money, their this, their that, their sex, their women, especially their money. Oh, baby, when you said you like to shop and when your eyes got big, when he told you how much he can make in a month, I think my boy definitely checked out then. If he wasn't checked out before, he definitely checked out then. Because then we had the conversation about the prenuptial agreement. She was not down for that prenuptial agreement, y'all. She was not down for that shit. She was upset with him. She was like, I don't want to marry someone who's not sure about this and not sure about that. Brittany comes off very dingy, very airheaded. I know she's very intelligent. She is a nurse. You have to be, you got to be a certain something to be able to become a nurse, okay? I am one, I know. I went through it multiple times. I have a master's degree too. Nursing school is not easy, but you can tell that Brittany is either like from a closed knit area. She's from a small town. She is, I don't know if my girl was getting out much before this. I don't know. I think it was just nursing and, her life. I just don't know, because the way that he's giving you all the signs that he does not want you, and you still just like, oh, I want to be married. I want to be married. And he's like, I don't want to be married. Even in the scene with him and her together, she's like, well, we're still engaged. We're still, going to work this out. And he's like, no, like, I don't know what the future's going to bring. I don't know what the future's going to hold. And he's saying that shit because he doesn't see a future with you. If he says, I don't know what the future's going to hold, after you ask him, well, where do you see us? I don't know. It's because he doesn't. It's because he doesn't want to be with you. It's because he doesn't see a future with you. Y'all can do what y'all want with that information, but it's because he does not see a future with you. If he could see a future with you, then he would tell you, hey, look, yeah, we can date. We can still figure this out. Like, I just have a few more kinks to work out. But when she was not down for that prenuptial agreement, I think that was another thing that he was just like, oh, hell no. Now, Devontae, we don't like you. We don't like you. You don't like us. We don't like you. But at the same time, I do agree with him on the prenuptial agreement. Y'all, that's just life. If you got money, if you've worked for something, you have to protect yourself. Marriage is something that's not till death do us part anymore. Sorry to say. There's the divorce rate continues to climb. So I would not want to, if I had that kind of bread, I would not want to join into a union with you without having some type of things in place to protect my assets. And that's just do what the hell you want to do with that information. But I don't agree with Brittany on this at all. I feel like my boy was right with the prenuptial agreement and bringing that up and bringing that forth. Because even Brittany was like, oh, I've never made that much money in a month. It's like, it's not that she doesn't have money, because, nurses can make good money. But that type of money, no. Unless you are going to work straight contracts every other month and you're picking up 10, 20, 30, 40K in a month, it's rare. It's not something that's just happening every day for us nurses. Unless you have some type of side hustle business, you're investing, you're working your feet and your body to the bone. You're not making that kind of money that my boy was talking about he makes in a month. So I feel like, it is important that a prenuptial agreement should have been in agreement, and she was not agreeing to that. So that is another reason why, like, sis, I'm not finna fucking marry you. Not only do I not like your chocolate skin, not only do I not like women of color, but you like to spend money. Your eyes got big when I talked about my money, and now you giving me slack about this fucking prenuptial agreement. So all those things align. He's not signing the dotted line. He ain't signing the dotted line, Brittany. He not signing that dotted line. He not. He never was. Prenuptial agreement or not, he never was going to sign that dotted line with you because you are a woman of color and he does not like women of color. Plain blank period. Oh well. Do what you want with that information. But my boy allegedly don't like women of color. Never have. Never will. Child, Brittany said something that was kind of weird, and I'm sorry. I said at the beginning when I first started this podcast that I would still go in on the ladies if they needed to be gone in on. And my girl Brittany was like, I have this beautiful wedding dress, and I think he's going to love it, and I think it's going to allow him to see my natural beauty. Sis, he don't want to see it. We've seen it, girl. We've seen the body in those bathing suits. We've seen you. You're T, okay? If he hasn't seen it before the doggone wedding dress, baby, he ain't gonna see it. The dress ain't gonna let him see it. If he ain't seen it before now, he's not gonna see it. That was a very weird scene. Brittany, it's not wrong with you, girl. Like, it's okay. Yeah, all of us got a little something, but Brittany, is you okay? Are you okay? I know I went in on Brittany a little bit, but I do feel sorry for her because she does say, like, she's felt naive in this situation, thinking like, do I like him more than he likes me? Do I love him more than he loves me? Is he just going through the motions? And I'm here to tell you, my good sister, yes, he's going through the motions. He is just going through the motions to get whatever means to an end that he's trying to get out of this experiment. He's not there. He doesn't want you. He doesn't want to be with you. He thought he could probably try to swing it. You, quote unquote, told him you sounded white, and you really don't, but quote unquote told him that, and he definitely thought you were a white woman in the pods, and we just got to take it as we take it. Now, some fucked up shit that Mr. Devontae does, she leans in to give him a kiss because she still thinks they're together. My girl still thinks they're engaged. She still thinks they are together, child. And she leans in, give him a little smooch, and he really didn't want to kiss her. And he was like, all right, I'll holler at you later. I'll talk to you later. And she was like, ha 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 ha, you're so funny. No, girl, he meant that. Like, this is it for y'all. Like, he should have doubled down on the fact that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her either. He did not. He just let her go on and say, well, I want to be married. We're not going to break up. We're still going to be together. We're still engaged. I know. Like, even in her confessional, she's like, I want to be with him. We are meant to be married. Like, that's what she was saying in this confessional, child. And I'm like, girl, no. Devontae doesn't want to be with you. And it ends with him saying that she's like a shadow to him. The more that he's pressured into doing the things that he does not want to do, he pushes further back. He said he'll go and want to go in a room and just put a shirt on and she'll be right there. And he's like, look, you can stay out there. Like, that's what he wants to say. I'm just putting on a damn shirt, girl. Like, damn. Brittany does give a little bit of a clingy nature. She does give a little bit of a naive nature when it comes to this marriage thing and men. And a lot of women are like that. It sucks. It really sucks, But in order to know what's up, a lot of times you have to go through shit to figure it out. But sometimes people going through shit, it still does not faze them. It does not change their perspective. It does not change their desires. And it does not change the fact that they're trying to get with people who don't want to be with them, no matter what. That's that with my girl Brittany and Devontae says that if he said, 2 years ago, he wouldn't have felt comfortable having this conversation with her. He would have just went on and got married, and he would have resented himself afterward. And y'all, he said he would have found the fastest way to get a divorce. He don't want you. He don't want you. I have to figure out the fastest way to get a divorce. Yeah. Fuck you, Devontae. Shall we get to Ashley and Alex? They go through all of the motions. They go through Ashley getting ready. She is crying, child. She can't even get her makeup on good. She crying so much. And then we go to, she's talking about she's confident in her decision. We don't know what that decision is at this point. She's confident in her decision. We cue to him and his people. He's confident in his decision, whatever that decision is. And we get to the wedding at the altar scene, okay? Baby, they ask Alex if he is going to take Ashley to be his lawfully wedded wife. And baby, Ashley said, cut the brakes. She said, I don't give a damn what your answer is, but I know you don't choose me, and I don't choose you either. She don't choose it. She cut my boy out. He didn't even get to say I do, I don't. She said, baby, go ahead and just save that for the bitches in the back. I don't give a damn. You don't choose me, and I don't choose you either. So Ashley goes on to say, why she made that decision. She said that in the pods, it was great. We had all of these mutual things in common. We had all these goals, aspirations, all the things we talked about. But immediately, and she pretty much said immediately following the pods, there was no effort from Alex. No effort. She said she felt like they were roommates. When they moved into the apartment, she felt like they were roommates. He didn't ask her any questions about her. He didn't want to get to know her. There was just literally no effort. And he was complaining about a lot of shit. He was complaining about, I guess her tidiness and how she keeps things up and all of that. He was complaining about that shit over and over and over and over again. And he was also, pressuring her to move her job. Either quit her job or move her job to be wherever the hell he at. And one thing I'm going to say about this is that I've been thinking this whole time is, Alex, you don't even have a home. You don't even have one place to stay the way you can sow your damn seeds. And that's cool if that's not what you want to do. But you can't be on a show to find a wife who has a job and a career in a place that she loves and she works and that's what she's been doing and expects her to go on the motherfucking ride with you. Where you at? Allegedly, Taylor from the Storytime with Ricky interview said that Devontae said that Alex moved in with him. Alex was living with him. It's giving very bum-ass mentality. Alex gives bum-ass bitch mentality the whole entire season. Bum bitch mentality. Like Jesse Wu say, it looks like you on the run. Who are you on the run from? You in Australia, you over here, you over there. We're looking at Arizona, we're looking at this place, we're looking at Florida. Nigga, sit down. White nigga, sit down. It's time to sit down. You sit your ass down. It's time to sit down. And like Ashley said, you don't choose me and I don't fucking choose you either. You ain't gave me no effort. You don't make me feel good. You just here. You just a waste of space. You just taking up space. My girl Ashley says that she spent way too much of her life ignoring flags and, allowing dishonesty with these men. And she's right. I feel you, girl. I understand. And she's like, you haven't given me anything. You haven't given me any type of inkling that this is a situation that I should be in and I should marry into. And he hasn't. He's not giving her a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing but lies. I think that what possibly really put the nail in the casket was the conversation with the meetup that I don't think my girl Tyler was at. Why didn't they invite my girl Tyler? That's another thing. I saw that on What's the Reality podcast. Why wasn't Tyler there? But it was when there was a sit down with Priyanka, who was also a cast member, but she didn't, get followed all the way through. But we saw her many times in the pods, and we saw her in, the women's quarters. Also, she said, Priyanka Alex and Ashley had a sit down, and he got caught up in the lie, child, about the girl. I want to say Arizona or something. One of them locations that he was at. I can't even keep the hell up with it no more. He lied. He told Priyanka a different story and told Ashley a different story, and they both clocked his ass on it. And he got upset. He got mad, tried to gaslight, which y'all men always do when y'all get caught up in a damn lie. He got caught up in a lie and tried to talk his way out of it. At the altar, Ashley says, you talk a lot of big game. You have a lot of stories. You telling us all these damn stories going around Robin Hood bar and talking in circles. Don't nobody understand what the hell you talking about or know what the hell you talking about and can understand if this shit is real or fake. It's fake news, Ashley. And you realize that. And you told my boy, this ain't it. You ain't it. She said, I live my life with integrity, and I expect my husband to live a life of integrity. And we're going to give us some snaps, some poetic snaps, because I need you to be doing what I'm doing. I don't need you to be living the same exact life per se that I'm living. But if I have integrity, you need to have integrity. If I'm honest, you need to be honest. If I'm not out in the streets, you don't need to be out in the streets, okay? So I'm so glad that she did not marry this buffoon, this fool. Alex, you are a fool. You a damn fool. And I do want to make a point to say, too, that Ashley looked absolutely gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. She looked amazing as well. All the ladies are looking good, okay? It is just absolutely, the way that he was just like, okay. She was like, yeah, it's a no for me today. He was like, okay. You know, he said that, you know, the feelings are mutual. He said he doesn't agree with her statements about his integrity. He said he lives a different lifestyle. He lives a different lifestyle to all the rest of you hoes. So he said, you know, people ain't gonna get it. People ain't gonna understand it. He was like, I feel like you were trying to badger me and try to catch me up in a lie and all of that. He said, instead of getting to know me. Mind you, she said he wasn't trying to get to know her at all. So, you know, at the end, his mom was like, you know, so shocked and appalled by the fact that, you know, Ashley called him a liar. And she was like, you know, I'm not happy with the fact that she called you a liar. And he was like, well, I know I'm not a liar. Everybody else here knows that. And his boys were hyping him up. They were like, oh, you know, you're a great man. You're going to find a great wife. You're going to be a great husband one day and all that shit. They hyping this man up. Something ain't right about you, Alex. I'm sorry. Something's not right. And everybody can see it and see through it. And you've been able to trick everybody around you. And maybe they in on the damn trick. But something ain't right about you, sir. And Ashley did made the right decision to not go forward with any type of union with you, sir. Absolutely not. I do think it's kind of funny that Ashley said in her confessional that she thinks that Alex was here for something other than getting married. She doesn't think that he was on this show to get married. That's interesting. Child, guess who we got on the damn wedding roster for today? We got Christine and Vic. Now, we ain't seen shit from Christine and Vic this whole time other than they, you know, iPhone camera footage that they've been providing us with. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, why, you know, my theories on that. But they have production at the wedding for them. This is the most that we've seen these two. So I'm, you know, at this point in the episode, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with them. Like, what y'all got going on? Because we ain't seen shit from y'all. Y'all been having a great time going on vacation. Y'all in love, smooch, smooch, smooch. So I just feel like we haven't gotten a real down to the nitty gritty on this couple and their relationship. We don't know shit about them. And that may be for a good reason. Vic and Christine, they give them a good little bit of screen time in this situation, and we ain't seen them. You know, the venue's still beautiful. Christine looks beautiful. Vic looks good. Hair looking good. Dreadlocks looking good. Dreadlock gang. He looks good. You know, suit looks good. His family's there. Her family's there. You know, they're getting support from their family on both ends, and it's a beautiful thing. They look like they're in love. You know, they talk about each other with such, you know, deepness and intimacy. They seem like they're really in love. They're getting a really, really good edit. Okay? They're getting a really good edit. As we get to, you know, approach the altar scene, you know, they're both, again, giving out their vows, expressing how much they love one another, expressing that this, that they're for each other. They knew, from whatever moment they knew that they were for each other, and they're here. And Vic and Christine, they do get married. They do get married. And, I feel like this is a good thing for them. Let's talk about a couple things. So, reasons why it is good that we didn't get shit from them until now. For one, black men a lot of times don't get a good edit. All the time. Don't get good edits. I feel like Vic has gotten a good edit. Some things about him seem there's something about him that's a little off to me, but I feel like that about most men. Whatever. He's showing us what we need to see. He's giving us what it needs to give. A lot of people are saying, this is the next Lauren and Cameron. I don't know. We're going to see. But I feel like for them, this is good because they don't have the same type of public scrutiny as the other couples who you see from the moment they get out of the pods and they go into real life society. That's when the shit hits the fan. There are some shits that hits the fan, before that time, but that's usually when the shit hits the fan. When everybody comes together, they see who they missed out on, they see the one that got away, they see, how the couples are interacting, they're doing these activities, getting to know people, and you see how Priyanka and Ashley tag team Alex when he was lying. And it's just like a lot more drama and things come up after the pods, and we didn't see any of that from them. We didn't get to see a lot of detail about them meeting each other's families. We didn't get to see a lot of detail about the drama and about who they didn't pick and who wasn't. We didn't see any of that. So they got an amazing edit. They got married. They got through the entire process and got married. I feel also too on the other side of that, a show like this, and with the history of Love Is Blind, I've been watching it since season 1. They possibly didn't have enough oomph from the people. They possibly didn't have enough couples getting married, because we didn't have any couples get married last season, season 9. They may not have had, they didn't get the drama from Vic and Christine because they're actually in love with each other from what we can see. So they don't have that. They can't put down another black man in that way. They're bringing them back, and they have full production for them for their wedding because they actually got fucking married. Okay? They actually got married. A lot of times these people aren't getting married, or there's so much drama prior to the wedding that we know they're not getting married. So they waited, I guess, possibly, to see what was going to happen. Maybe they needed it for the views. Maybe they didn't have shit else on their plate and that they could use, and they was like, let's go ahead and produce their wedding. Because they, honestly, they could have just gone without showing Vic and Christine and allowed them to live their life. Of course, Vic and Christine can choose this, I'm assuming, but they can't choose who they show and who goes forward in this experiment unless something severe and detrimental is happening. And so, on one end, Vic and Christine were not really good for views because people want to see drama. They want to see mess. They want to see people cheating and lying. They don't want to see a couple that's actually in love and actually going through the process and it working out and getting married. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't have this show to look at if all the couples are getting together and getting married. Nobody wants to see that shit. They want to see the drama because that's real life. Real life is full of fucking drama. Chris Colin, I don't know about this one. I don't know. I'd love, that, I hate that we didn't get a black couple. We didn't get a black couple this season. I hate that. I do hate that, especially with it being during Black History Month. But I do like the fact that Vic got a good edit. He got a good cut. And it's because they didn't have any drama. And who knows? They possibly could have had drama. Who knows? But I feel like they were for each other from the point that they figured out they were for each other. Just like some of the other ladies said, and Tyler and some, they were dating Vic too. They were dating Vic in the pods and all of that. But they got a good edit. This episode 12 ended. The whole rest of episode 12 was about Vic and Christine. How ironic. And then it goes into everybody having their own little, soliloquies about the season and the things they learned and the things that they won't deal with going forward, and all of those things. I do want to bring up a point that I forgot to mention earlier, that Brittany said that she was just like, oh, I'm just wondering, like, is he just going with emotions? Like, is this because I haven't met his mom in person, like his family in person? Brittany didn't even get to meet Devontae's mom. So that tells me right there, he didn't like you, girl. He was not bringing you home to mama. He wasn't. Because he knew he wasn't going to be with you. So, all of that to say, that is Love is Blind season 10. That was episode 12. What the hell do y'all think? What do y'all think about this? The next episode is going to be the reunion. It looks like it's going to be juicy. Looks like we're going to get some truths come out that people may not have known about. We got people storming off the stage. So Love is Blind season 10 reunion comes on next week. I will have a video for y'all for that. So until next time, if you're new here, thanks for coming. If you are not new here, thanks for coming back. This is Nurse Brooke from Brooke Talks channel on YouTube. Please come back. Y'all take care.
Glass on my gun, I'm in my zone. Pretty with a purpose, yeah, I do both.